Rock Island Auction Company's upcoming August premiere firearms auction is absolutely stacked with incredible firearms from the American West. One of my absolute favorites from this sale is this S. Hawken St. Louis marked full stock percussion rifle. These are incredibly rare rifles. You do not see the full stocks very often. The half stocks are already rare as well, and this one's in very high condition for any Hawken rifle. When you take a look at the rifle, it's a classic Hawken full stock. It's a bit longer than some of the examples we've seen. It's got a just over 41-inch long barrel that tapers from 1.13 inches here towards the breech down to 1.09 inches here towards the muzzle. So just a very slight taper along this nice long barrel. The rifle is in .54 caliber, one of the classic calibers of the American West. A lot of the U.S. military rifles in this period are also firing .54 caliber round balls. That's a nice, powerful cartridge that can take down basically anything you're going to run into in the West, whether you're fighting in a battle or whether you're hunting buffalo or grizzly bears. This rifle is going to be able to handle that. It's got classic dovetailed blade front sight and a dovetailed buckhorn style rear sight here in front of the S. Hawken St. Louis marking. One of the things that's a bit atypical about this example is if you let me flip the rifle over and take a look at the cheek piece. This one's got what we call a beaver tail shaped cheek piece. Most of these Hawken full stock rifles have a rectangular or Tennessee style cheek piece here on the butt. Other than that, this is a very, very typical example, but if you've studied the Hawken rifle, you'll know that they'll have little variations as you study them and look over the finer details. This is a very high condition example that would have been made in the mid-19th century. It's a relatively heavy gun, but when you're traveling the West, you want a strong, powerful rifle that can handle anything you're going to throw at it. And these Hawken full stock rifles certainly fit that bill. And when you look into the American West and you start studying the history, a lot of times we think about the late 19th century where you've got the Winchesters and the Colt single actions. But if you're looking in the mid-19th century when this rifle would have been made, many of the guys fighting out west would have been using Hawken rifles, Colt's percussion revolvers, things of that nature. So a Hawken rifle is kind of the predecessor to the Winchesters we see later on the western frontier. The S. Hawken marking on the barrel tells us that this rifle was made after Jacob's death in 1849, while Samuel Hawken still controlled the shop, or after the shop was actually sold to a group of St. Louis gunmakers around 1860. But this rifle is really interesting to me because it is a classic example of a full stock Hawken rifle that is built much more like the traditional American long rifles of the early 19th century. So it kind of bridges the gap between the earlier American long rifle and the later half stock Hawken plains rifles. But overall, it's just a very, very, very nice example of a classic Hawken full stock rifle. This rifle is lot 1079 in the Premier catalog. It's online right now, so definitely go check this rifle out in the catalog as well as a ton of other amazing historic firearms from the American West.